Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's see who's in the room. Let's see. Okay. So as people come in, I just want to welcome everybody to the Can I Live Lunch and Learn in partnership with Bay Atlantic University. So as people start to come in, I just want to say thank you. You guys, if you guys are hiding your cameras, just be sure that you know this video is being recorded and we will be posting this video on various social media channels. So be sure to look your best if you want to be seen. If not, hide your cameras. And also make sure that you rename yourself. So if you have a question towards the end, we know exactly how to address you. We're gonna give it, let's see, where we at? We'll give it 2 minutes, maybe, before we get started. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, guys. You guys are in for a treat today. We have Mr. Shawn Prez, former VP of Marketing for Bad Boy Entertainment, CEO of Power Moves, Inc. So we're excited to have him. And we just want to make sure all of you get in the room, get situated. I would just suggest you guys grab something to eat. It's a lunch and learn, so you should be eating something. I have my coffee here. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. You guys have all been through probably
busy
I don't
week.
know. Yes, the weeks just keep getting busier. The
It
busyness
is, yeah.
doesn't stop.
Never.
It's like, how busy can one person be? That's insane. I don't want to be so busy. I really don't. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will get started in 1 minute. I'm very excited about this interview. Let's see if I looked and seen, give a shout out to whoever's in the room. I can look and see. Yep. Andrea, Kimberly, Maura, Verdell. Hey, Verdell. Nice. All right. So we are going to begin. I'm going to, let's see, spotlight for everyone. So welcome everyone to the lessons learned. It's our lunch and lessons learned in partnership with Bay Atlantic University. My name is R.W. Jones and I am the CEO of Can I Live? Can I Live is a national public housing tenants association. So we're really excited about today's guest because he grew up in public housing. And so, you know, we said from public housing to Hollywood, you know, how did Mr. Shawn Prez get to Bad Boy Entertainment? Bad Boy, we know, moved the streets to every urban culture and beyond, not just urban. But I definitely wanted to let people know out there why we're doing these lessons learned. We're on a mission to move 1 million moms off the welfare system. We're in this RV and we're traveling the United States, trying to go into these public housing communities to motivate the residents, to let them know the tools, the resources, the programs that are available, but more importantly, how to navigate the system. Sometimes the system, not sometimes, most times, the system just penalizes you for becoming independent. So as soon as you work, your benefits are cut and you get paid more to sit home and do nothing than you would if you actually went to work. And so we decided to use the influences of celebrities and to see how we can dissolve, because most of the time we run a lot of programs in partnership with Bay Atlantic University. We have an incubator called the Resident Owned Business Incubator that we run, where we're actually, equipping under-resourced entrepreneurs with the tools to run their own business, to make money. And not just make money, but money, whereas the system, the housing authority, public housing, Section 8, where they cannot really just increase their rent altogether. So we're excited about the Roby program. We have a new program called Ross, which is our Resident Opportunities and Self-Sufficiency. It's a professional development work readiness program where we're actually working with college graduates and, students who may have barriers or just finding it hard to access the employment that you're looking for. Not just a job to have a job, but a meaningful career where you're able to master your gifts and add value into a place that you feel like you're called to. And so we're excited about that. We have an Adobe program, for all of our creatives and our artists. We don't want you to be starving artists. So we're helping you digitalize how your art skill. And so we're excited about that. You'll probably hear a little bit more about that at the end. But first, I have to do some thank yous and introductions. I want to definitely thank the Department of Employment Services, because without them, we would not be able to have opportunities like this. The American Job Centers in DC, BAU, Bay Atlantic University. We have Dr. Sinam here, who's going to give us a couple of words in a minute before we get into our interview. And we want to definitely thank the team of Can I Live, the Welfare Tour team, who always is here to support everything we do. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Dr. Sinam. Hey, Dr. Sinam.
Hi, Raquel. Good to see you.
How are you?
Good, busy, as you said, the final day of the week. And we are happy it's Friday today. And it's good to have this lunch and lessons learned session with you.
You look great. You
Thank
always
you.
look great. Yes. Let me tell y'all something about Dr. Sinam. Do not let the accent and her smile fool you. They are some tough cookies over there at the Bay Atlantic World. I'd like to say hello to Malek and Denise, but you guys are some tough cookies. And I really appreciate you supporting women and just, all of our students and what you've done with us. So, just allow us to do this space, to do this work in this space in partnership with your university.
Yeah,
thank you very much
for partnering with us. And you are an inspiration for me. I always share this with everyone I know. Raquel is inspirational. She's a great leader, and how she changed her life, and now she is touching so many other people's lives, as she said, to make them more independent and to make them become leaders, and again continue that inspiration to the others. And I always admire you, and thank you very much, Raquel, for again having another project with Bay Atlantic University. We are thankful to you, to Can I Live, for partnering with BAU, not only to offer this new program of ours, the Ross Work Readiness Program, but all the other programs that we initiated before. And thank you, Shawn, Mr. Prez, for accepting our invitation and sharing your experiences with the young people that are now joining us. Thank you, Brandon, for organizing this session, and everyone else for joining. I won't take much of your time, but I just wanted to share these thanks with everyone. And a couple of things about this program. This program will pay you to be trained to enter the workforce and climb the ladder of success. And we have seen so many applications so far, which makes us happy. And knowing we are playing a role in changing these young people's lives is so meaningful for us. A very special thank you to Mr. Prez, Shawn Prez, for joining us today and sharing the lessons that he has learned. And now he is eager to share with the others so that they can also become successful like he. And if you have any questions about all the other certificate programs, degree programs that our university offers, we are at the heart of the nation in Washington, DC, a nonprofit, young and energetic university please make sure to message Brandon, who will provide his contact details, I believe, at the end of this call. And back to you, Raquel. I don't want to steal, much of our time.
No, thank you so much, Sinam. I appreciate it. One of the things most people don't know, with moving from, welfare to becoming my own boss, education was a huge part of that. And so I admire a university that is not so stuck on one thing about BAU. It's not like a regular university. It's nimble, it's flexible, it's quick. You get access to your service, access to what you need quickly. Your application process is quick. So I love the fact that it's not as bureaucratic, as some of our other institutions, because, when we ignite hope, it's important for that hope to immediately be acted upon, and you give us that opportunity. So thank you again, Dr. Sina.
You're welcome. That's, why we are here, to serve students. That's our mission. And maybe another thing I'd like to add quickly here is that all these participants, after joining any of our programs, this could be either Robbie, that we run with Can I Live, or this Ross Work Readiness Program, they may then, continue to get their degrees, either bachelor's or in undergraduate or graduate level, so that they can continue to learn in their lives.
Absolutely. Education, we're always continuing to learn. Thank you, Dr. Sinam. So we are excited. It is 12:12 on my end, and we are going to roll right into our interview, our lunch and lessons learned. So I hope you guys have something to eat, have your coffee, if you're ready for some powerful information that just will transform your life. I want to introduce our speaker today. Shawn Prez, who is known as a music industry trailblazer, a successful entrepreneur, author, marketing expert, and motivational speaker. Despite his achievements, Prez came from humbling beginnings, a South Bronx native born into poverty, particularly public housing. He recognizes that he's not the strongest, smartest, or in any way gifted. The key to his success, what most consider to be adversity, Prez turned that into the very foundations that his dreams were built on. You guys may have heard about Chicken Soup for the Soul by Jack Canfield. He wrote in that book, "You are not given a dream unless you have the capacity to fulfill it." One of the most profound statements ever written, yet most people will never truly realize its true significance because they are led by fear instead of being driven by their dreams. So by changing your mindset, you change your circumstances. It's that simple, John says. The powerful principles of leadership, problem solving, living in your purpose, and becoming unapologetic about dreaming big are lessons that Prez ultimately learned from his many struggles and failures along the way, many of which he included in his best-selling book entitled Don't Die a Dreamer. As a gift to you, everyone here today will get a free copy. God doesn't do random, and nothing happens by chance. If you're here, it's for a reason. Embrace the idea that you were chosen because God has a greater plan for your life. So please welcome our speaker to the stage, Mr. Shawn Prez. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Prez. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, can you see me?
Let me get you. Let's see. I cannot see you. Not yet, but I will. Let's see. I don't see you yet. Let me spotlight you. There you go.
There we go.
Thank you, Brandon. Hello, look at you.
What up? What up? What up? What's up, Raquel?
What it do? Yes, I love it. I'm good. How are you today?
I'm very, very good. Before we get started, I want to thank you for having me today, the entire staff over at BAU and Dr. I forget how to say her name, Dr.
Sinam.
Sinam. Thank you so
Sinam.
much. Yep. Thank you for having me. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Now, I don't know, where did I go? Oh, there I go. So you're on the spotlight. Okay, great. All right, Shawn. We're gonna get right into it because I know they like, I wish she would just get on with it already. I hate when it's like 15 minutes of just talk. I want to get to the goods. We're gonna get to the goods. So here we go. Interview, lunch and learn.
Mhm.
So talk to us. You said you had some humbling beginnings,
Yep.
right? And so share with us what that looked like. What was life like in public housing growing up?
Okay, so I'm not sure of all who are on the line today, and if you guys have a vivid picture of what public housing looks like. I make it a point in my story to share that I'm from the South Bronx because people often get caught in where you are and not where you came from. And I believe that all of my success and my failures, my ups, my downs, my peaks, my valleys, the very foundation of who I am to this day and how I became this person is rooted in the South Bronx. It's rooted in the worst of the worst. For any of you guys who are
Wow.
not familiar with New York City, there are 5 boroughs in New York City. The South Bronx is the worst of the worst. That is where they put the lowest income. That is where they ship off people who are considered to be hopeless and without hope. So I'd first like to say for everybody who's here, I thank you because it's just a little after 12 o'clock on a Friday. You could be doing anything in this world. You can be out chilling, looking forward to the week, but you're here and you're trying to learn something. And you're getting it from somebody who's going to give it to you as honest and as truthful and as unfiltered as I possibly can. So growing up in the South Bronx, especially during that time, it was the crack era. It was beyond poor. But truthfully speaking, I didn't know we were as poor as we was, because everybody to my right, to my left, my friends, family, we were all in the same boat. It wasn't like there was somebody that in the internet, it didn't exist. There was no TV shows that showed us the glamorous life. At that time, the best we had was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. So our world was literally the South Bronx. It was the housing projects. It was crime infested, and that was our reality. But within that reality, some would choose to look at it as obstacles, and they would choose to look at it as, why me? I've always had the mindset of exactly that. I'm chosen. It's not why me, but I am chosen, me. And coming up under those impoverished conditions, there was so much beauty, even though it was struggle. Today, kids, they spend more time on the internet. They spend more time on their phone. We were literally outside. We didn't have necessarily these glamorous parks to play in. So we created our own with vacant lots. We didn't have basketball courts where we can shoot hoops. We literally would take the milk crates and we would cut the bottoms out of it and nail them to the telephone poles. And we created our own basketball courts on a block. We didn't have baseball fields, so we would go in the middle of the street and play stickball. So even within all of the poverty, there was beauty. And I didn't see it as hopeless. I saw it as hope. Hope that one day I would get out of those conditions.
So let's talk about that, because that's one of my next questions. You said hope that one day I would make it out. Were there times where was it just, God, I hope I make it out of this? Or was it, I'm going to make it out of this?
It never was, God, I hope I make it out of this. It was, I'm going to make it out of this. It's a funny thing about this life. I believe that we're all, the way God designed us, the way the universe works, whoever you pray to, it is meant for us to have more. It is truly meant, it's divinely meant for us to have more, but it starts with belief. Do you believe that you deserve more? Do you believe that you're capable of achieving more? So people often look at their circumstances in this moment. I'm going through a bad divorce. You know, I am a victim of abuse. I am fighting a case. I'm living in public housing. I'm on welfare. I have 6 kids and no income and no baby father. Where you are today is just that. It's today.
Yeah.
Your tomorrow is a new chapter. It's a blank page for you to write what it is that my story will be. And I think that so many people get and they don't realize that every day that God grants me and blesses me with air in my lungs, I can change my tomorrow. It is possible, but it starts with a deep-rooted self-belief that I, Shawn, or whoever you may be, you are capable of changing your circumstances. Now, you might need schooling, you might need training, there are things you can do to change it, but you are perfectly capable as you are this moment to change your circumstances. And I always knew, it wasn't just hope, but I always knew and I believed that I was capable of changing my own circumstances, even though my environment showed me that I could be stuck there forever.
I was thinking about when you were telling your story, and I'm thinking about your friends, your family. You know, the truth of the matter is, while it sounds simple to say that, there's something else happening, because when you're around that stuff all day, all day, all day, all day, you grow up in it. It's so hard to keep hope. So why was it different for you versus anybody else? Was it your mom? Was it you were just chosen? It was just in you, because not everybody has it. Some people got to get it over time through things like this, through, self-help, self-talk, you know, but why don't more people make it out? What is it? Why were you,
You
why don't
know,
more people make it out?
I've thought about this question over time. If God bless the dead, my mother passed away just about a year ago, and she would always tell me, Shawn, you're
Sorry about
different.
that.
Yeah, thank you. She would always tell me, Shawn, you're different. But I don't believe that. I believe that um, I am like everyone else, meaning I don't have any outwardly facing gifts that I know of. I can't sing, I can't rap, I can't dance, I can't hold a note. I'm not this incredible, profound speaker that speaks with the Queen's English. But it's choice. And what I mean by that is you say, why me? How did I do? Because I made a choice at a very early age where people saw obstacles, I saw opportunities. Where people saw depression and they saw what was not available, I saw this is my motivation. This is the fuel that I need. That whenever I say I'm tired, or whenever I say, or I feel like doors are closing in my face, I need to remember going to the kitchen and opening the cereal and 1,000 roaches running out of the cereal, turning on the lights and roaches scattering. I need to remember when my mother would send us to the supermarket. These days are very different, but back in the days, being on welfare, and you would remember this, Miss Raquel, that you had these booklets with different color money, and you would have green $10 bills and orange $20 bills. Now you got a benefit card, but back in those days, it was embarrassing. Everybody knew you were on welfare. Everybody knew you were getting food stamps and stuff like that. So for me, it was humbling, but it was also my daily reminder, Shawn, you must, there was no excuse that is good enough. There was no mountain that's tall enough. There is nothing that should or could stop you from changing your circumstances, especially when you look at other people who live literally, we're in the Bronx, and all of 8 miles away, it is the richest borough on planet Earth. Literally, the financial capital of the world is Manhattan. And there are billions of dollars flowing through Manhattan. And all I had to do was take a train ride to Manhattan to see how radically different people were living, just 8 miles away. And I used that as the jet fuel and as the daily reminder that I cannot allow any of these circumstances to serve as an excuse for me not to change my life. So I don't think that I'm different. I just think that I choose to see life different.
That was powerful, because I heard you. Not only did I hear you, but even I think everybody has obstacles, challenges, and barriers. And for me, even where I am right now, when you said, I just chose, I just decided, it was just that simple. And so let's talk about the steps you went to, because it's one thing to decide and then and choose a path and choose, but then the way you're talking, the next best thing I'm seeing is you was on a grind. Somewhere, somehow you had a grind. What did that grind look like when with your deliberate decision now? I'm choosing to get out of here.
Okay. If you don't mind, I want to highlight the word decision. I want to bold it. I want to underline it. I want to turn it into 50 font instead of like I want everybody to listen to that word. I said the word choice. Miss Raquel used the word decision. Do you understand the power, the power, the magnitude and the gravity of making a decision? And come hell or high water, I'm going to stick to it. I don't care what happens. I don't care what life throws at me. I don't care how long it takes. I've made a decision, and I am going to follow through on this decision until I get to where I'm trying to go. So if you're listening to this, make a decision. I don't care, whatever it might be, wherever you are in your stage of your journey, your life can radically change with one decision, just one decision.
That's it.
But with that said, I was, I told you earlier, I don't have any that Shawn knows of, any outwardly facing gifts. And I try to drive this point home because people, they look at people who they deem as successful, whatever that might look like to you, and they put them on a pedestal. They put them in a place as though they are superhuman. So let me help you out here. I have been in rooms with some of the most successful human beings on planet Earth. I have befriended, had conversations with, spent quality time with millionaires and billionaires. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but they are just as human as you. They are just people. They put on their pants one leg at a time. They are human. So while y'all, or while people, let's put it that way, put successful people on a pedestal, it gives you an out. You look at them as superhuman. You look at them as they possess something you don't. And when you do that, it gives you an out from achieving exactly what they achieve because, oh, they must have something I don't have. No, they don't. So going back to myself, I don't have any outwardly facing gifts. I'm not a great athlete. I'm none of this. I'm not, I was never great in school. None of that. But at some point, I realized what my true gift was. And my true gift was, I was ambitious, I was driven, and I was not afraid to work like a dog for what I believed. I was not afraid to put in the work. So yes, whereas some people, they were born with talents. Talent will never trump work. It will never outwork work. It won't. And that's where I excelled. So when I made up my mind that, and for anybody who knows anybody who lives in the Bronx, most people, they think they're moving up when they move uptown, quote unquote uptown, but it's in the Bronx. I come from the South Bronx. That's the poor side of the Bronx. People think that, and I always would look at these people and be like, yo, you're still in the Bronx. Like you don't realize that?
Right.
So I got super, super determined and I started to really dream big. And I mean unapologetically big. I started to dream beyond what I could see, dream beyond what I knew, dream beyond what I had ever come in contact with. And I started to work toward it. You know, I'm the first in my family I'm the first in my family, to be honest, to graduate high school. Let's start there.
Wow.
From there, I was the first in my family to go to college. I went to college, upstate New York, SUNY Binghamton, and around the second year, and this is an important part of the story, and I don't want to prolong it, so I'll make it as quick as I can. Around my third year, I was a junior. I was in my second semester junior, and I dropped out.
Wow. Third year. What happened? Shawn, you frozen?
And I came to the realization that whatever it was, can you guys see me? Can you guys
I can see you. You were frozen. You said I heard when you said in your third year you dropped out.
I dropped out.
Like, wow.
And I didn't drop out because of money, finances, grades. I dropped out because I had come to realize whatever it was that I was going to achieve in this life, it was not on the campus of SUNY Binghamton. So I left school.
Wow.
And I left school on a mission. I left school, and I'm telling you guys this for a reason. There is not one way to success. There are many roads to success. And when I left school, I looked at everything as a possible career choice. You know, if I went to a hot dog stand, do I want to own a hot dog stand? If I walked into a store, do I want to open a store? Do I want to work as a salesperson? if I rode a bus, do I want to be a bus driver? Do I want to work for the city? And somewhere along the line, I found music and entertainment. And when I did find it, I went back to school, finished my degree, but simultaneously, I started working as an intern in the music industry. So,
okay. So, well, that was important. Did you have to switch your major when you went back to school?
you know, and I'm sharing this part of my story because I know we have college students, within this room right now. When I went to school, I was an electrical engineer major. And I was an electrical engineer major because it sounded good. At that time, there was no Google, electrical engineer. It sounded good. They made good money. And I had a come to Jesus with myself around my sophomore year. I don't even like math like that. I don't like science like that. I'm going to class and I'm like, if this is what I have to do with the rest of my life, I'm going to literally feel, like a dead man walking. So yes, I did change my major a couple of times. I ultimately graduated with a degree in economics, but truth be told, I finished my degree not because I knew I would never use it in a traditional way. I was very much focused at that time on my career in music and entertainment, but it was something that I started. And I believe in this world, when you start something, it is your responsibility to finish it. So, yep, I did change my major several times.
Nice. So let's go back to interning. What was the first music label you interned with?
Great question. Listen up, ladies and gentlemen, especially if you are not in your career yet. You want to be successful? I applaud you. You want to be rich? I applaud you. I support you. But everything, and I mean everything, in this world costs. There is nothing that is free. So with that being said, I told you, I dropped out of school. I literally walked the planet looking for what it was that I was going to do, soul searching, trying to find myself for over a year before I re-enrolled back in school. When I finally figured out what I wanted to do, I started interning and I was gung-ho, and I was going to be the biggest person in the music industry and everything was going to go my way. I had sacrificed and everything was great. You say you want it. I don't know what it is for you, but you say, I want it. Whatever that it is. I want to be married. I want a six-figure job. I want to live next to Donald Trump in West Palm Beach, his Mar-a-Lago compound. Okay, God will give it to you. But are you willing to pay the price? And in my case, I started my first internship at Atlantic Records. I worked literally for a year, unpaid.
Wow.
And at the end of that year, I asked for a job. No, but thank you for your service. Damn, what do I do now? I took a total of 5 internships unpaid. Unpaid.
Wow.
Meaning no lunch money, no transportation. Shawn, how bad do you want it? It's there. I could have quit after internship 2, internship 3, internship 4. But I would not quit. I would not stop because I had made a decision. I made a decision years before. Lord. And it wasn't until my 5th internship, after working 5.5 years for free at record labels, that I was blessed with my first full-time job. Now, what does that mean? What does that even look like?
Wow.
There were more than 8 hours in the day. So while I was giving all of my time for free at those record labels, the bills had to be paid. Okay, I'll give my 8 to 10 hours a day at the record labels for free, but that means I had to sacrifice sleep. And when I got off of that job, I went to another job that actually paid me. But people say that they want it, but are you willing to pay the price for it? Are you willing to forego sleep? Are you willing when your family members are telling you, why are you chasing this pipe dream? Nothing's coming about of it. Don't you? In my case, I had my first child while I was doing free internships, and I got my baby mother looking me in the face talking about enough is enough. I've supported you. And I believed in your dream. And now you got this little boy here and he's looking up at you and you can't pay the rent. But I had to keep going because I made a decision and nothing was going to stop me. So
the plan, go ahead. Because you got me in tears over here. That was not the plan.
Yeah, I have 5 internships, but I tell this story because people think that whatever it is that they want, it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
And life ain't easy. Growing up in the hood wasn't easy. Getting my first paid job in the industry of my choice wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Go ahead, Miss Raquel.
So, okay. You actually a very anointed speaker. Like, this is the second time I done tear it up and I didn't plan for it. But I feel it, I see it. And that, because I got my own personal thing that I want to do. But you said, what are you willing to sacrifice? And so with the 5 years of interning for free.
5.5. Give me my half.
Give it a half. I know that's right. You is not gonna let no time. When it finally came, was there like, did you feel that release, that relief? Was it Bad Boy?
It was Bad Boy. It was Bad Boy. But let me help you guys understand something. And let me show you how the universe, I believe in God. And I understand that we're living in a very politically sensitive world. So I'll just say the universe, but for me, it's God.
Yeah.
Let me show you how God always is working in your favor, even when you don't know. I felt like I took 5 internships over the course of 5.5 years unpaid. I felt like the biggest loser. I felt there were many times that I wanted to quit. There were many times where the voices of people who loved me, like truly loved me, they were not giving me advice out of hate. They were giving me advice out of real, genuine love. Like, Shawn, enough is enough. Like you have a college degree. Go get a job, make money.
Yeah.
But me doing those internships,
I think you frozen, Shawn. Come on. Don't freeze. Shawn.
are we
Is
there?
it me? Okay, you back. Thank you.
Am I back?
You're back. You froze for a minute. You said you was like doing those interns over the 5 interns over the 5.5 years.
Okay. During those internships over the 5.5 years, I felt like it was the biggest waste of my time. But what I didn't know is when I finally got my job at Bad Boy Records, I came in as an intern and then they gave me a job. And I looked at the years before that as, man, I've wasted all of those years. But within 3 years of getting my job, I went from an intern to vice president within 3 years. And I tell you this to say none of those years were wasted. None of them. Because what I learned during those years, and the humility that I had to have, and the work ethic that I had to develop, and to not take no for an answer. When I finally got to Bad Boy, I excelled for one reason and one reason only. Although I came in as an intern, I was beyond seasoned. I was more seasoned than people who were on staff and paid. And whereas they took their check and they took their opportunity for granted, I understood just what it took for me to just get in the door. So I was, before the doors was open, I was there. I was the last person to leave. I was the person volunteering to do everything because I understood that this opportunity that I've finally been given, I'm not wasting a second of it. And because of that, I thought that I came in as an intern. On paper, I did, but in reality, I was so seasoned and I was so light years ahead of my competition. I could only jump over them, like literally by leaps and bounds over them, because they could not touch what I had been learning over the years, the tangible and the intangible lessons that I had and skills that I had acquired over the years. So yes, to answer your question, was I like, yes, Lord, I finally got it. Yes, 100%. Yes. But to go back to a point that I made earlier, you know what was the biggest thing that I thought when I finally got in the door? And I was so happy that I had left school. I was so happy that I was brave enough to change my major several times. My number one thought was, I cannot believe they would pay me to do something that I would do for free.
Wow.
I loved what I was doing. I excelled because I loved what I was doing. And if I look back at the history of my life, I always made decisions based on what was in here, in my heart, and not what was up here, not what was logical, not what was expected, not what everybody said is the right way. I trust what God gives all of us. He gives us intuition. He gives us that internal compass that is always pointing us in the right direction. But most of us choose not to listen, not to hear, and not to go with it. And because I was brave enough to go with it and trust and believe, when I got in that door, I couldn't believe they would pay me to do something that I would do for free. And I excelled because of that.
Was there, so let's go on the for a little bit, the Bad Boy ride. So there's now you VP of marketing. Now you got access. I'm sure there was moments like, oh my God, I'm like in the room with this dude or with her. I can't believe it. How did you manage the ego, the pride, that arrogance, that puffed up bravado that can be attached to that place, but still remain that humble? I guess all of that, I done answered my own question. All of that you just said, that'll keep you humble. It'll keep you focused. For sure. Wow.
Yeah, you. I mean, I was forged in fire. I was forged in humility.
Yes.
I'm that same kid today.
Yes.
Who, no matter what my net worth is, I am still a product of the South Bronx.
Amen.
I'm still a product of many years of failures. I am still a product of making bad decisions and learning, and I'm still that guy. So it's not hard for me at all to number one, stay humble, and it's also not, I know who I am. So being around those huge egos, I look at those people and I understand, you're no more human than I am. We're the same. And there's not a room that I walk in that I don't feel I belong.
Amen. I mean, that's just powerful. We're getting some comments like, I needed to hear this. This is great. I needed to be here today. This has been a blessing to me. So, you know, you blessed me, seriously. And so while, you know, and I remember through the last, this is just our second, but sometimes your words are hitting me personally in ways that I'm trying to fight it for a second to focus, because I immediately want to dig into all of that good stuff you just said. So I'm going to, you know, try my best to plow through, because what I do know is at some point, did you ever keep going and achieving? Where was fear? How did you check fear?
Fear is a reality. I deal with fear even to this day. You know, one of my prayers, even to this moment, is Lord, you know, please remove all fear. Please remove all doubt. This is every day, as early as this morning. Every
Amen.
morning when I wake up, I drop to my knees and I thank the Lord I'm alive, because I understand there's somebody who went to bed last night that did not rise this morning.
Yeah.
And one of my prayers is, God, please remove all fear. Please remove all doubt and replace it with gratitude. Replace it with me not focusing on what I don't have and what I want, but what you've already blessed me with. And that might not be material. It might be the fact that I'm able-bodied. I have the use of all 5 of my senses. I don't need anybody to help me go to the bathroom or eat or feed me pureed food or any of that stuff. Got all my teeth in my mouth. But I also understand, and I think that most people need to understand that okay, there is a telescope that they just launched into space a couple of years ago, and the pictures came back a few weeks ago. I forget the name of the telescope, but you guys can look it up. But anyway, they were showing how infinite this world is, the galaxy. When I think about, my God created this, the infinite galaxy, how dare I be scared? How like, do you understand anything that I want is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a drop in a drop in a drop in a bucket in the Pacific Ocean to God? How dare I be scared? How dare I have fear? And for me, yes, I deal with fear. I'm human. I have fear all the time. There are things that I still want to do in my life that I'm like, maybe you're too old, Shawn. Says who? Says who? Maybe I gotta work a little harder. Maybe I don't have the legs up under me I used to have when I was in my 20s. But truth be told, as long as I'm breathing, like I said, tomorrow I get to write the script of my life. There's still things I want to do, and yes, that pain kicks in. But every day is a blank slate for me to write the ending, the next chapter of my own book. And that's how I overcome fear, because I know that the God I serve is greater than any fear that I could possibly have.
That's good. And I hope you guys got that. I hope you guys out there listening, I hope you received that. Let's see, we got some messages. I think sometimes somebody was like, come on, Prez, talk. I think sometimes we have this ability to put our beliefs of God or creator, whatever I believe in God. We put God in this little box because we in the box. And if we just get and tap into that understanding, we'll probably be able to say, and I think the limitations is our own. It's the limitation. Now there's racism, discrimination, there's all of those things that exist, is real, but I don't think it has any match for determination, will, and just hard work. And God.
you know, I want you to add the word belief, because that's really where it starts, Miss Raquel. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you don't see yourself,
True.
if you don't look in the mirror and see yourself where you want to be, if you don't believe that it could happen for you, you've already lost. Too often, we lose before we begin because we don't even believe in ourselves. We don't even believe we are worthy of it. We don't believe that we can achieve it. So how can you win? How can you win if
Right.
you walk in a room and you think I'm the dumbest person in this room? How can you win if you think everybody is more talented, more pretty, they got a greater skill set than you? How can you ever
Yeah.
achieve? It starts with self-belief. And then if you add work ethic, if you add all of the other intangibles to it, there's nothing you can't do. But I think that it starts with, first and foremost, looking
Amen.
in the mirror and understanding, just as I am, the person who I am. I believe. And I know it's
Amen.
possible for me. I know it.
Amen. 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 So we're going to get into questions from the audience, but before we do, what would you say? Because I know that having a job at Bad Boy and then before we go into that, why did you leave Bad Boy? How did you get to launching your own business, Power Moves Inc., that you are now, you know, these leaders of all of these other brands? Where did that transition come from?
Dope question. And I'm gonna make it quick. I know I've been trying to feed you guys as much as I can. But I'll
No,
make
that's good
this one
stuff.
quick. You know, again, you might believe in the universe. I believe in God. But trust me when I tell you, if you don't believe nothing else I have told you today, I want you to listen to this next answer. I don't care what you've been through. I don't care what you're going through. I don't care if you have had the worst existence that you can dream of. It is for a reason, and it's only to make you prepared for when God gets you to where he wants you to go. Now, when I came into Bad Boy, I started off as an intern, and I started off working on the street team. And for anybody who doesn't know, the street team is the lowest job you can possibly have. Nobody wanted to be on the street team. That is in the office of executives. That is where the unskilled, that is where the people who are not allowed to go to the meetings, and they just looked over us, right?
Wow.
I came in with a college degree. I'm like, yo, don't put me on no damn street team. And they would, you want a job? You want to get in? This is where you must be. Okay, I had to submit. God, this is where you want me. I'm going to be the best street team worker that this planet has ever seen.
I know that's right.
Fast forward.
You better say that thing.
Your question. And this is again, it's a lesson in here for everybody who's listening. I don't care where you are. There's no such thing as a menial job. I didn't become dear friends with Sean Diddy Combs for no reason. I'm not related to that man. And there are millions of people who have come in and out of his life. I was in the worst position. I was a street team member, but I worked like a freaking animal. I took that job as serious as if I was the CEO of his company. I did my job to the best of my abilities and what was humanly possible. And that is how I got on his radar. And that is how I kept getting promotion after promotion after promotion after promotion, right? But being on a street team, essentially, you are a promotion person, you are a marketer. So when you ask me about transitioning to starting my own company, which is an award-winning grassroots promotion and marketing agency, at the time, I didn't even want to be on the street team. That's where God wanted me. That's where they placed me at. But by doing that, I acquired a skill set that I didn't even know I wanted or needed or I should have. And I gained this reputation as this incredible marketing and promotion executive. And my name started to go beyond the music industry. And now I was promoting these multi-platinum acts that the world all knew. People from corporate America started to wonder, who the hell? Okay, we understand Sean Diddy Combs got the Midas touch and he's making these great records, but he ain't the one promoting them. There's somebody behind him, and that person was me. And I didn't go out looking to start my company. I started to get clients because of I was the best at what I was doing, and they started to come to me. And after a while, I started making more money on the side. I started making more money on this side hustle than I was making in my day job. So it was only a natural transition for me to say, you know what? Maybe God got something more for me. Like it's great being here, but I got all these other clients that I'm working with, and they are paying me. And I don't want to I'm humble and I won't just don't, but I was making a lot of money. How about that? And this is on the side, and this is outside of my paycheck. But I want to tell you something, because this is just how God works. I remember the day I went in and I put my resignation in. And Puff came to me, and I thought it was going to be a knockdown, drag out fight, because Puff is like a jealous girlfriend. Like when he has you on his team, he don't want you to leave. He don't want you doing nothing with nobody else. And I was like, yo, it's time for me to go. And he made me a deal. He said, Sean, I can't stop you from leaving. I know how good you are, and I know everybody wants you. But here's what I'm going to do. Why don't you stay here? I'll take you off payroll. I'll allow you to keep your health insurance, your benefits, your office, and I'm going to give you part of my office so that you can build your staff. And I want Bad Boy. Now you don't work for Bad Boy. Bad Boy is a client of yours, and you can build your company under my roof. You tell me what God can do. You better
shush.
I'm telling you, like, you tell me. I could not ever conceive that. That was never in my plan.
Y'all better listen. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Go ahead. Listen, I don't know Sean, but that right there, and it ain't just him. He knew you. He knew you, and I respect that. That's a big power move. I respect that. I know you was like, yo, it's on. It's on.
Because then I didn't have to hide. I didn't have to hide. Like, I was hiding all of those accounts. Now I can go out. I can build my company under his roof. But more importantly, he became my greatest advocate, meaning I could take meetings and get Puff on the phone, and Puff would tell executives sitting at the other end of the table, this is my guy. This is the guy that does my marketing promotion.
Come on.
You must use him.
Big up to Sean for that. That's real dope. Because believe it or not, there's some people out there that's real catty, like you said, like, jealous, and they will try to cause you more harm than good. But everything you did in your life was seed in the ground that would not even sprout anything other than what has been achieved. So, but that's so inspirational to know.
True story.
That is like, this stuff happens. And if it happened for you, who's to say it will not happen for those that are listening? But I mean, listen, we could just go. We could just stop right now. I got to go process.
Yeah, get some of the audience questions.
I got to go process. And then we got to get the biggest lesson you learned. We're gonna ask some questions from the audience, but I got to get the biggest lesson you learned. I really ain't got to get nothing. I really am over. I'm done. Come on, y'all. What's up with the questions for Mr. Prez? If y'all don't know, y'all see me. I was literally like over here breathing. I had to breathe through some of the things he was saying because when you were talking, Shawn, it was like a wind, a sail coming through. And I felt that, and people are in the audience like, I felt that in my spirit. Okay, let's go back. Let me see. Any questions? Yeah, we got some. Somebody's like, I'm woosahing. Yeah, you got to breathe that one through because, yeah, you could be virtual, but I felt that. I was in every moment. You tell good stories. You have a way of telling stories and telling your story. Let's see, I just have a lot of comments. Nobody got no questions for Mr. Prez. I know I done asked a lot of the good ones, and he done gave you his whole life story. Who we got?
I got a question.
Hey, Verdell.
Hello. First of all, I want to thank him because I'm dealing with what you're dealing with now, and I came into public housing with 3 degrees. So God took everything that I had, middle class and all, and put me here. And it's been a different life because I don't understand the mindset. So He is getting me ready. So I thank you for that testimony.
Amen.
I won't say what I went through yesterday with somebody trying to cut my mindset, but I thank you when God takes everything, when you've been and He takes everything and puts you in public house, it's a whole different mindset. You have to learn to meet the people He wants you to meet. So I thank you. And you say you didn't have no gift. Let me tell you this real quick. You have a gift in truthfulness, caring, encouraging, motivation, ability to move person from one area to another, and ability to encourage people to hold on. You do have talent. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Verdell. Verdell, actually, when he was talking, I actually did think about you. I was thinking about, because Verdell has helped us. She's just been going just in, we are organization. We are former welfare moms ourselves. 99% of all of our contractors are either in public housing, Section 8, on some kind of welfare or been homeless or have this experience. And given, sometimes moms and dads their first contract and seeing the vigor and the hope and the grind and tenacity. So I really did thought about you, Verdell. Somebody says, Shawn, please detail your bad boy rise in position. Your bad boy rise. I thought he did that, but I mean, if you your bad boy rise in position, I guess.
I thought I did that actually.
Yeah, you said, yeah.
If there's a specific question, ask it. I don't know what I didn't cover.
Yeah, because he was saying how he was grinding so much on the ground that it caught Shawn Diddy's attention, and that's how he kept getting promoted. Let's see. Okay, so as people are typing in. Okay, you guys mute your phones if you're not going to ask the question. Okay, so someone wants to ask a question. Is this, you go ahead, you can go ahead, ask your question. I think that's 713.
Oh, me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No, that's not you, Verdell. Okay, so let's go into your biggest lessons learned, because this is lunch and lessons learned. What was the biggest lessons that you like, damn, if I had to do that again, I would do that differently? The biggest one.
It's a great question. What are my biggest lessons? Because everything is really a lesson when you think about it. I think I harped on this earlier, and I'll just drive it home again. You as you are, you really are properly positioned to be the person that you want to become. If I haven't learned anything else, that is probably one of my biggest lessons. We have a tendency of thinking people, they're either born with more or they have more than we have. And that is just not true. It isn't. You have gifts. You are properly positioned to change your own life, because and I'll tell you, I really wish you all could sit with some of the people who have created multi-million-dollar companies. And once you get over the, oh my God, this person, once you get over, I can't believe they know my name. Once you get over the fact that they are the founder and CEO of blank company, you come to realize they're just people. They're normal. They really are just people who worked. They really are people who just were determined. Nothing more. They don't have anything that you don't have. So, you know, I wish I can give a more profound answer, but that really is probably one of the greatest lessons that I learned through this whole ride. And also,
true.
It's never too early or it's never too late. And I think that as we get older, you know, now me, you know, I'm not the young boy that I once was. And we could easily put our own self in a box and say, you know, well, it's too late for me to do this. You know, I should have did this 10 years ago. It's never too late. It's never too early or too late to get started, to make a decision to change your life. It really isn't. You know, it's a, so I would say that. I mean, I'm sorry.
No, I got what you said. No, I got exactly what you said. What you're saying is you wish you would have just learned earlier on that what most people look upon as high in piety and this, you actually, you know, you were no different from them. They're no different from you. You have what they have what you have, but the difference was like the work, the grind, the work ethic.
The belief.
Everybody in the belief. Yeah. Because I would definitely say that is a shift. I remember having this experience of this welfare mom as a Black single mom, you know, different baby fathers. You would see Congress, you would see policymakers, you would see all of the people that looked like they were doing something. They were white men. And I was afraid to look. I couldn't even look in the eye of a white man back in the day because I felt so low. And it wasn't until I worked at a congressional Congress, like a state, it was nothing but white men. And until I started to work, I was like, you know, legislative aide, but I would be in the back putting papers and stuff together, and I would hear their conversations. And it was during hearing their conversations, I was like, oh my God, they don't know. I had put them on these pedestals of being these people, these great gods that know all of this stuff. And when I started to hear them talk, I was like, they do not really know half of what I thought they knew. And then I realized, and that gave me the endurance, or it repositioned my posture and how I saw myself and how I walked into rooms. And it just shifted, because then I can see myself not as a subordinate or inferior, but someone that was just as equal, just as brilliant, just as great. So I got what you're saying. I got what you said. And that's how I'm taking it. Am I right by what you're saying?
Yeah, you should. It reminds me of a story. You know, when I first started my business, I used to walk into these rooms. And again, you say you want it, God's gonna say, I'll give it to you. But are you willing to pay the cost? So I'll go back to that, lesson learned. And I remember I used to go into these rooms and we used to have to write proposals and give our pitches, and I would sit. I come from the South Bronx. I'm straight from the hood. Born into the crack era, welfare, food stamps, the whole nine. I can't change who I am. At the core of me, that's just who Shawn is. I'm 6'4", and y'all looking at me, and I've lost a substantial amount of weight over the years. But at that time, I was a much bigger man, and I would go into these rooms, and I remember doing these pitches, and the people at these companies, these large corporations, and I won't say names because you guys know it's products we use every day. They wanted to get the business of Black and brown people. They wanted the multicultural business. They wanted it.
Oh, it's frozen again.
Learned. Oh, goodness.
There you go. There you go. Okay, you back.
Okay.
You back. Okay. They wanted to get the business of Black and brown, and what you learned.
They wanted the urban and multicultural business. They wanted our dollars because our spending power is tens of millions of dollars annually. It's hundreds of millions of dollars annually, and we are the trendsetters. What starts off in the hood becomes what little, Josh and Madison and Caitlin are doing in middle America. And that started in the hood. So we would go in and we would pitch, and we weren't getting the deals. We were not able to get these accounts. And what I learned was, and I say this as truthfully as I can. I'm 6'4" at the time, maybe I was 250 pounds. And I would walk in a room and I would tell people exactly how they could get our audience and get our dollars and get people to buy into their products. But they couldn't get past the fact that I was the person that they saw on the news every night. I was the person who, when I walked down the street next to them, they crossed the street. I was the person that they were taught to fear. And that was an eye-opening revelation for me. But again, how bad do you want it? What I did, because I understood that the money was there and they wanted our audience, they just couldn't see giving those dollars to me because I move like a person from the Bronx. I don't speak the Queen's English. It didn't matter that I was college educated. It didn't matter that I was a businessman and I was probably making more money than they were. They were the gatekeepers. They were the ones sitting around that table, and none of those people came from the environment that they wanted to infiltrate. None of them came from the place that they desperately wanted to get into, but they were the ones who can say yes or no. So how bad do you want it? What I did was go out and I hired somebody who looks like them. I hired people who spoke their language. I went to these meetings and I would act as though I wasn't the CEO. I would act as though I was just a worker and they were upper management. And I had them pitching the same accounts that we couldn't get. But now those people were able to hear it differently. Because for them, they were no longer threatened. They could see past. See, it wasn't the message, it was the messenger. And I had to humble myself and understand that. Shawn, you're dealing with something that has, this is bigger than you. So if you can't knock on the door and somebody will open it, then you better start digging and go under it. If that don't work, then you better throw up a rope and try to climb over it. And if that don't work, you put a stick of dynamite on that door and you blow it off. And that is exactly what I did.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I started to get accounts that we couldn't get, but I had to humble myself and put people in the forefront that they could now not only hear the message, but they can receive it from the messenger. It didn't matter to me because at the end of the day, I was the boss. They just didn't know.
Wow. That's deep. I've heard conversations like that. I've seen strategies having to be deployed like that. That's pretty ridiculous, but it is what it is. And talk about humility. Talk about you knowing. That's so funny because I know I could not imagine you sitting in the room in these meetings and the person you've hired is pitching. You talking to yourself like, it's my job. You know what I'm saying? Like, always, because ego has a way of trying to always act like, you know, I can't believe they doing this. No, but that takes some real internal guts and emotional intelligence for sure. So, I mean, your life is remarkable. To close out, we have a question. Is there a philosophy of living you prescribe to or daily rituals that keep you grounded? And if so, would you mind sharing that with the audience before we close?
Yeah, it is. A couple of things. Number one, you know, we've all heard the Lord's Prayer. And part of the prayer is how is it? I'll follow it out.
Heavenly Father, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come.
Will be done on earth. Oh, on earth as it is in heaven, right? I want God to have. We say in our prayers, on earth as it is, you know, on earth as it is
in heaven, right?
I want God to be. I think that we have a vision for ourselves. We have our wants and we have our desires and we pray for them. And that might not be what God wants for you. Have your way in my life. Have dominance over my life, you know, on earth, in me, as it is in heaven. Like God, sometimes what we don't realize, we are standing in the way of our own blessings. We are, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And God, I'm praying for it. And I want to have it by this amount of time. Well, maybe that ain't what God wants for you. Maybe that ain't what the universe wants for you. You got to be fluid. You got to be like water. You have to be able to, in your words earlier, be nimble and take your ego out of things and pray to God or ask you, what is it that you want for me? And I told y'all stories, how I came into the record label and it was in the worst position. I had to humble myself. That's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. But if this is what you want, and this is where I need to be at this moment in this time, then so what? Have your way in my life. I'll be here. And years later, I couldn't tell you how well it has served me. So number one, understand that's maybe you're not moving because you're standing in the way of what God really has for you. Ask him. Have your way just as you have it in heaven. What is it that you want from me? And allow me to have the humility to go in the direction that you are trying to push me, because obviously I've been pushing this way so damn long and nothing has happened for me. It's got to be for a reason. So that's number one. And then number two, I don't know if you guys caught what Miss Raquel read earlier as part of my intro. You know, Jack Canfield, he has sold probably more books than anybody on planet Earth outside of the Bible, the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And he has a quote and it says, you are not given a dream. You're not given a dream unless you have the capacity to fulfill it. So listen to those words. Really dial into that. You ain't given that dream. If you dream and you know, whether you sleep or whether you're going through your day and you just have this dream, I don't care how big it is. I don't care how far-fetched it is. I don't care how far from your current reality it is. You're not even given it. You're not given it unless you have the capacity to fulfill it. So if God chose you,
Amen.
and he gave you this dream, you, as little and insignificant as you are to this universe, you, little old you, have the capacity to fulfill it. But you gotta believe it. You gotta believe. You can't say, oh my God, well, I can't be president, or I can't do this, or I can't do, I can barely afford to pay my rent this month. Who cares? You were given a dream. And then lastly, I want to tell you this, because when you have a dream, I told y'all earlier, there's going to be people who love you. They do. They love you, and they got your best interest at heart. And they're going to tell you, come on, really? You're gonna start a new social media platform? You're going to do this? You're going to do that? You need to just do this. You're great at that. Or you need not to do this now because it's going to take you 5 years, or whatever it might be. God gave you the dream. He didn't give it to them. They can't see your dream. It's yours. And if he gave it to you, I don't care what your mama, your daddy, your baby mom, I don't care what nobody say. If they don't see one, if they're not supposed to have the vision that you've been given. So if it's been given to you, you have the capacity to fulfill it.
Amen. I mean, that was empowering, because sometimes you and I have had that for sure. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do this. You know, like sometimes it gets so heavy, like I can't do it. But what you were saying is, if you have the dream, or if God has given you the vision, if you have the vision, you already have the capacity to fill it. So work on that, increasing the capacity. Yes, because one of the things I can say before we close, that in all honesty, sometimes people just look at you and they say, they think you've arrived somewhere. They think you have something. And I'm thinking to myself, I opted to move 1 million moms off the welfare system, but I can't tell you I opted in for all this other stuff, all this other stuff that I feel that is getting in the way. But it's perseverance, push. So for all you guys are listening, if you ain't hear anything today, it's not happenstance. It's not coincidence. It's mindset, it's choice, decision, and then there's action. And then there's that sacrifice. And then, I believe if you just get those right there, you'll work it out in the go. You'll get it in the go. You said something else powerful, that if you say, I want to do, God is going to say amen. God is a yay and amen. Like he is for us, for his people. And so I thank you for coming out and just sharing your life. I was not anticipating such an empowering, where did you go? Oh, there you go. I wasn't anticipating such an empowering. I knew it would be, but you guys, you have blessed me very much so. And so I just wanted to thank you, everyone in the comments. They're like, great presentation. Thank you.
Hello?
Hey, I'm not sure if everyone can hear, but thank you everyone again for coming. Please feel free to stick around just a little bit if you want. My name is Brendan. I'm with BAU and can talk to you more about Ross. I'm sure Raquel will be back here in a second, but just want to thank everyone again for joining. I think this was really great. And thank you again, Shawn, for imparting those lessons learned.
Thank you so much for having me. Guys, have a great weekend, and understand, if I don't leave you with anything else, as you are capable of achieving so much more if you just believe that you can. You guys be well. I'm wishing you all of the success and blessings in the world. Have a great weekend.
Did I
Thank
ask
you.
this
Thanks
question
so
out
much.
there?
Great. Yeah. And if anyone's interested in Ross, please stick around. I can help you out. Otherwise, you'll be hearing from us very soon. Thanks again,
Is
everyone.
Shawn still there? Is
Thank
Shawn
you
still there?
guys. Sorry, I just happened to go out and come back.
Is Raquel
Thank
there?
you,
Can you hear me?
Sean.
All right.
Yes, thank you, Sean. I'll be in touch. I will email you. I apologize. I don't know what, my internet just
worries.
cut off. Thank you
you,
everyone
guys.
for coming out to the